Okay, let's talk about Girls Gone Wild. Okay, so it was around 97 when Joe Francis decided that he was going to drive around and get drunk girls to pull up their shirts and show their titties. And I remember seeing that, and all of us, I mean, anyone who was, we all saw it going down. And I remember seeing it thinking, oh my God, they have this on tape. These girls are going to be horrified later in life. I mean, it's no big deal. It's some titties, but eventually it became so much more than that. These women did not consent to it. They were obviously wasted. And he made a lot of money off of them. Like, big bucks. Millions of dollars off these women, and they didn't get shit. Sorry, it's freaking hot in here. It just is. Alright, so I think that's what bothered me the most back then. I kept thinking, well, what are these girls getting out of it? Because they're always going to be known for this. You know, men used to buy those VHSs and just watch them all together, just hanging out, partying. I remember showing up at a friend's house and just a bunch of guys sitting around, drinking beers, taking bong hits, and watching these very young girls. A lot of them were underage, showing their tits. Woo! You know, that kind of thing. And he was making bank. He was making so much bank. And I always thought he was just the biggest sleazeball ever. So now they're coming out with a documentary. And I cannot wait to see this. So it says, Girls Gone Wild, victims, enemies, and employees speak out in trailer for new documentary. And one girl said, I never thought that it would come back to haunt me for 20 years. One survivor says. I do believe that these are victims. You know, people back then were like, well, they wanted to do it. They were showing their tits. They wanted to do it. If you're being coerced, you're drunk, you're partying, you're around a lot of people, and some guy is pointing a camera in your face, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing sometimes, especially at that age. You're so fucking stupid. Like, I think of myself in Palm Springs at that age, you know, 16, 17. I didn't have that happen to me. I didn't have someone coming up to me going, let me see your tits. I would like to think that I would have said, go fuck yourself. I think I would have. I definitely do. But there is that part of me that thinks that I might have done it. You know, because girls, young girls, when they're getting attention like that, for some reason they feel special. They just do. They feel like, I'm the chosen one. They're not thinking that this guy's going to make millions off of me, and in 20 years I'm going to feel like a fucking idiot for doing what I did. Nobody really thinks about the future when you're young like that. So I never understood how he got away with it as far as exploiting these women and having them not being paid for it. He would give them underwear and shirts. Like, he would give them a little pair of underwear that says, you know, Girls Gone Wild, or I don't know, look at my titties. I don't know what he did. But it just made me sad because some of these girls' lives, they say, were ruined. They couldn't go to school Monday, you know, or whatever, because he would post them. There was a whole website of this shit. So I feel like a lot of them kind of got labeled as like sluts, skanks, whatever. And, oh yeah, this girl, she was, I never thought it would come back to haunt me for 20 years. She claimed she was too young to be taped. Okay, so he was victimizing very young girls. Like I said, when I was 16, 17, I would go to Palm Springs all the time. Probably like 3 years in a row I went. 16, 17, 18, whatever. Actually, no, 18, I was in Mexico. So maybe 2 years. It was like 2 years. And, yeah, the strip was wild. You know, we would just get on mopeds and just cruise around in bikinis. I didn't. I was very insecure at 16, 17. I didn't think I looked good in a bikini. I had a little weight on me. I just grew some boobs. I wasn't very confident until I was like 18. And then I was like, oh yeah, bring it, bring it. That's when I was like bikini modeling, lingerie modeling, all of that. But a lot of girls did. A lot of girls loved the attention. And it wasn't because they were sluts or hoes. It was because they were young and beautiful and drunk off their ass in Palm Springs. Anywhere, really. It was, that's just, he trolled women like this. This is what he did. So, his name is Joe Francis. The Untold Story, it's called, Girls Gone Wild. And they asked him in the docuseries or what have you, did you feel bad for the girls? And I think he says if I took no for an answer, I wouldn't be where I was. Francis said in a clip from previous interviews. Because he would say, come on, show me your tits, come on, everyone wants to see him, come on, you're beautiful, you're young, show me your tits. He would say things like that. So he said, if I took no for an answer, then I wouldn't have made $20 million. He made $20 million for its first 2 years alone. Oh my God. Yeah, that fucking pisses me off. So these young girls, they weren't getting paid anything. They were underage. They were being coerced by him, saying, come on, do it, come on. Him and his staff. And so they did it. And he doesn't feel bad for the girls at all. And I think there was a lawsuit. I can't remember. He's now living in Mexico with loved ones after an arrest warrant was issued for him in the United States for failing to comply with a previous bankruptcy agreement. So I know that there was a lot of celebrity supporters of him, and that kind of bothered me as well. I don't think that, look at him, it's a sleazy fuck. From day one, I always thought he was sleazy. I mean, there's nothing about him that says, like, a nice young man. And the fact that he made so much money off these girls, it's, at least he could do was kind of apologize and say, well, you know what, I was young myself, which I don't think he was. I think he was like 30, in his 30s. Like, he was old enough to know better. But he was also smart enough to go, okay, there's a market here. These young girls will do anything to get free shit and to be noticed. And they're wasted. They probably won't remember this in the morning. But they'll remember it when it comes out on VHS. And everybody that they know sees it. But by then, it's going to be too late. But it's not like he carded them. It's not like he was getting their consent, really. I mean, if you're a 16-year-old and you didn't agree to this, that's to me, that's a victim. These people were victimized by him. All right, so I can't wait till that comes out. That's going to be awesome. I just wish that he wasn't such a pussy and he didn't run off to Mexico so he could be held accountable for the things that he's done. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't like when pieces of shit like this make money off of women. Just like how I don't like Hugh Hefner. Everybody knows it. It's because he gave them practically nothing in return for making millions upon millions off these women. And it was the same reason, except they were of age. You know, they were very young though, 18, 19. Anybody who exploits women and young girls, very young girls, is a piece of shit. You don't see women doing that kind of stuff, do you? You don't, and because it's not a market for it. Just like there's prostitution, and it's mostly men going, you know, needing a woman. But who gets arrested? The woman, not the John. The John always gets off. Why is that? I think that's bullshit. So there's a lot going on here. I can't wait to see the documentary, and of course I'm going to give my views on it after it comes out. All right, everyone, peace out.